at the dog. You can still watch the dog out of the corner of your eye, but don't be facing towards them. Also, don't be standing. Kneel down. You can even lay flat on the ground if it's a smaller dog, or if it's your own dog and you know the dog isn't going to be aggressive, then lay flat on your back. Those are more inviting to a dog than standing at it. And I think the video you're talking about, I demonstrate where a lot of people will walk slowly towards the dog, and they're looking at the dog and creeping towards the dog, and that will definitely freak out a dog. Mm-hmm. So what we recommend is that you're sitting down, and then I demonstrate in the video how you can make this nummy lip smacking sound as you have a crinkly potato chip bag and you're dropping treats on the ground, and you're basically ignoring the dog, eating food, and dropping the food on the ground, and then starting to toss pieces of the food towards the dog to draw it to come to you. And this technique just works wonders in many, many cases. It doesn't work for every dog, but it does work for a lot of dogs, for a lot of families to get their dogs back home.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things that people do that they shouldn't be doing that actually prevents the dogs from possible recovery?
Yeah. So things that they shouldn't be doing is posting sightings. So like on the Facebook group or whatever, when your dog is missing, inviting anybody and everybody to be out there searching, because then what you end up having is a whole herd of people out there, or people acting independently, calling the dog, seeing the dog, and then trying to catch the dog, and it just sends the dog into more of a fight or flight mode, or puts them more at risk of running into traffic and being killed. And we've seen that happen many times. So what we end up doing is suggesting that there's no posting of the sightings, but that the admins on the Facebook group or any volunteers that are trained that know how to go out and set up the feeding station and to take care of the trapping part of it can work on that. But the most important thing is getting those signs out there, getting sightings, getting the information out, but looking for patterns of how the dog is moving about, or has it settled into one area, and is it coming back to the same location for food and water? So I think other problems are, again, that people think that they need to call the dog's name, or whistling at the dog, or clapping the hands. Those are the big ones that, again, is a big problem, because you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe not doing the preventative things to protect your dog by microchipping, and making sure that the chip is registered, and having a collar and ID tag. So, I think lost pets is kind of like cancer, that unless it happens to you, your people aren't really concerned about it. And there's a lot of people that just think it will never happen to them. And then when it does, they're just completely off guard. Never thought that they'd be involved in a car accident. Their dog would be ejected, and then the dog would be lost out there in the woods. But it happens.
Yes, it does. We have a couple of them missing still from that same exact situation, sadly. So tell us what the slogan, "Think Lost, Not Stray," means. Yeah.
So Think Lost, Not Stray is an attempt to educate people to be thinking that when they see a loose dog or cat, that it's lost and that it's not stray. When we use the term stray, it kind of separates the animal into a category of being homeless, right? And this is part of the problem with in the shelters, that when the shelter staff are thinking in terms of a stray that was brought in, they're not thinking in terms of this is somebody's lost dog. They're thinking in terms of this is a dog that we don't know who the owner is, but they're kind of passively wait for somebody to show up, and when they don't, after their holding period, which is in some cases only 72 hours, then the shelter kicks into gear after that 72 hours with their focus of adopting the dog out. Mm-hmm. So there is a shift that is starting to take place in the sheltering industry. There's a group that's been meeting that's working on developing better programs and processes at shelters. And one of the issues that they're looking at is the lost and found, and the issue of these assumptions that people make when they see a dog or a cat, that it's that it's somehow homeless. And I think part of that is because we've done a great job of putting that message out there, right? The homeless pet crisis and animals being dumped, and you see enough of that on Animal Planet, or you hear that message enough, then when you see a dog trotting down the side of the road, you jump to the conclusion that it doesn't have a home. And so we really are trying to educate people to have the animal scanned for a chip. Take it, start researching, did somebody lose this dog or lose this cat, and taking an effort to find the owner instead of thinking in terms of it needs a new home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's hard to switch that mentality when, we see it all the time in the rural area here. If a dog is found and somebody doesn't immediately know whose it is, it's been dumped, and I just can't stand hearing that. I just hate it, because then they're not going to try as hard to find the owner.
Exactly. Sometimes, and you'll see it in on many threads, when somebody has found a dog, I'll take him, I can find him a home. It's like everybody's jumping in to rehome instead of finding the original home, and it's not that many, or I guess it depends on how large the city is and how big of an area is whatever. Homeless dogs do happen, but they also escape from their owners, and they get lost in so many ways. And so just because a dog is found in a rural area or in a crummy area of town doesn't mean that it's not loved or that it's not wanted. It means that it's loose.
Right.
The moment that your pet, that the dog that you love as a family member, escapes your care, we change the name of it, and we look at it differently. We call it a stray, and some people call it dumped and homeless. And we just have to change that. We just need more education about the fact that we have to be doing a better job of assuming that these dogs came from a family, and we got to work backwards to find that family. Now, when you work backwards, and if you find that the dog was abused or wasn't from a great family, well, then, you can work to try to rehome it. But you got to make an effort for scanning, for posting. You could post a neon found dog sign in the neighborhood and see who calls you. You may find that the dog belongs to an elderly person who is grieving over the fact that that dog is missing, and you could change their life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know that is one thing we do try to preach down here, that it could absolutely be an elderly person's dog, that, they lost their hold on the leash or something. And it's that always concerns me, So, Kat, we're almost out of time. So if you could just quickly, mention about your network, your Missing Animal Response course, and how anyone could get in touch with you, that would be great.
Sure. So you can reach me through the MARN website. The web is missinganimalresponse.com. My email is info@ and then my name, Kat Albrecht, KATALBRECHT.com. The course, we offer group training, but we also offer self-paced. So with the self-paced training, meaning you can sign up at any time and work through the course at your own pace. And again, there's the 8-week course and the 10-week course, and our website explains the difference between the two. But if you have any other questions, you can contact me through the website or my email, and I can gladly explain it. But we just encourage anybody that is involved in lost pet recovery to take the training, because there's just you can never learn too much, right? I'm just a big one on learning and training, and this course is not just information that I've compiled, but it's information that students that I've trained over the years have developed different techniques. I remember the first person that I trained that used a wildlife camera. That was back in 2006. And look, now it's standard use for everybody in rescue to be using those. Not the wildlife traps, the wildlife cameras. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's like every time I talk with Kathy Poblowski every month, and I swear every single time she talks, I learn something. So I'm a big advocate of learning, and
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you've been able to come on today. I do appreciate it. Time goes by so fast that, but you had a lot of excellent points, and people will be able to go back and listen to this again after it airs. So thanks so much for being with me. I do appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
Yeah, and so I just want to say to everybody that, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and I'm so thankful to have Kat here with us today. She's one of the people that I've always admired her work, and so I'm thankful for her being with us. And I'm also especially thankful to Society Bites Radio for having my show on, and all of our listeners out there, my volunteers that help me with Lost Pet Services, and all of the members of our group that do what they do to help. So right now, I just want to say, remember that a lost pet can't tell anyone where it lives, so please be sure they're microchipped and wearing their ID tags. And if it is chipped, be sure that chip is registered and up to date. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time, take care and keep your pets safe.